Here are two more examples. A large retail chain of general stores that target low-income consumers uses development agents to find new store locations and negotiate the leases with property owners. The company rewards these agents with generous bonuses and stock options if they open 50 new stores in a single year. Agents are supposed to open new stores only if their sales potential is at least $1 million per year, but recently opened stores earn half this much. Let's address the three questions to figure out why the sales of the recently opened stores is below target. Who had the decision rights? The development agents had the rights to determine which locations to open. What information did they have? Presumably, they had good information about the potential profitability at various locations. What incentives do they face? The incentives they face encourage them to open 50 stores a year because by opening 50 stores a year, they received a sizable bonus. The answers implied that the deciders faced incentives that encouraged them to make decisions that were not in the interest of the owners. Two types of solutions come to mind. One, move the decision rights and information to someone with good incentives, or two, change the incentives facing the deciders. We will discuss how to implement these two solutions in class. Example 4. In 1787, England used Australia as a penal colony and paid ship's captains to transport prisoners from England to their new home in Australia. Conditions for the prisoners in transit were deplorable. Up to 1/3 of the prisoners loaded in England died in transit, and the prisoners who lived were often malnourished and sick. The treatment of the prisoners outraged the public. Newspapers called for more humane treatment, and religious leaders appealed to the captain's sense of humanity. However, conditions did not change even after Parliament passed laws requiring better treatment of prisoners. Let's answer the three questions to determine why the prisoners were being so poorly treated. Who had the decision rights? The ship's captains had virtually all decision rights on the ship and about the ship. They decided how many prisoners to load, how to treat them, and how much and what to feed them. What information did the captains have? Presumably, they understood the consequences of overcrowding, underfeeding, and pitiful living conditions. What incentives did they face? The incentives they face encouraged them to pack as many prisoners on the ship as possible. The captain was paid for the number of prisoners loaded, regardless of whether they survived or the condition in which they arrived. The answers to these three questions implied that the deciders faced incentives that encouraged them to make decisions that were not in the interest of the prisoners. Two types of solutions come to mind. Move the decision rights and information to someone with good incentives, or change incentives facing the deciders. We'll discuss how to implement these two solutions in class. Now, examples 3 and 4 have a moral. If you reward people for X, you'll get X. If you pay people to open 50 stores a year, they will open 50 stores a year. If you pay people to load prisoners onto ships, they will load prisoners onto ships.